Okay, great. It seems we are live. So we are live on three different platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. So let me know on which platform you're watching this, and also let me know if the video and the audio quality is good, so that we can continue. On my side, I can say everything is working, so that's great. But still, if you feel if something is wrong, let me know in the chat window. And also let me know from where you're watching this. Now, since we are starting this show, which will be for 1 hour, and then Pranav will be doing most of the talking. So I just want to know from where you are so that, I can just keep a track of that. Great. So let me just check once on the YouTube if it is streaming well. Okay, now one more thing. If you enjoy the live shows like this, make sure that you hit that like button because that's what keep us motivated to come to make more shows like this or more live sessions like this. So hit that like button, and if you have not subscribed yet, do subscribe because there will be more episodes on the way. Okay, now without wasting our time, the topic for today is Ethereum, and Pranav is all set with the answers for my questions. So let me get Pranav on stage, and here we go. Hey, hi Pranav, how you
Hey
doing?
guys, good, good. Really like pumped up from the responses we have got from last time about blockchain development, Web3, and people are really excited to jump right in. So I think we have hit the right stage. And to all the people who are watching, I think you've also hit the right direction. And I think you guys are early to this particular stage. So let's make this early mover advantage so advantageous for you guys that you cannot thank us enough all the time.
Awesome. So topic for today, Pranav, is Ethereum, right? So basically, we heard about Bitcoin. Maybe that should be a good start, right? Maybe we can start a short on Bitcoin, and then how can we differentiate between Ethereum and Bitcoin? Basically, why do we need another platform or a currency when Bitcoin was so famous, right? So, Pranav, all yours.
Definitely.
That's my
This
first point.
is this is definitely we can understand the theory as to how Bitcoin started and then why we needed Ethereum for that. So the first reason, so in 2008, before 2008, there was a lot of attempts to make distributed computing work. People wanted to have this digital currency and everything on a distributed ledger, but it could not be made possible without this thing known as proof of work or the consensus, because normally in a centralized system there is only single point of failure, right? If let's say you want to rectify what is true or what is not, all you have to do is just go on a centralized server and say yes or no. If you want to just see if on Amazon if something is bought or sold, you just go on a centralized server and say yes or no. However, if you go on a distributed decentralized server, that's not possible, because maybe like you have, let's say, 10 computers, right, which are computing things, all of them to be on the same page, one saying sold out, the other saying not sold, is something which is possible and is a problem of the distributed decentralized systems. And that was what led to Bitcoin not being created till 2008. 2008 was the time when the consensus and proof of work as a magical thing happened in the ecosystem, and that was what led to the birth of distributed decentralized systems, and Bitcoin being a part of that particular thing, right? So that's how it all got started. And people understood Bitcoin, and yeah, that Satoshi Nakamoto just appeared as a person, anonymous, talking about this distributed gold and distributed value, distributed currency or coin as a thing and a store of value. And all the cryptography, people who love cryptography loved this particular idea. People who loved distributed systems loved this idea, because this was the first time where distributed systems could cooperate, collaborate, and together build something and move forward in consensus, right? Now, even the advantage of centralized systems could be taken over decentralized systems, while the advantage of decentralized systems of not being so much what we call as not being so much being very censorship censored, and things like that could be solved with the distributed decentralized system. And that led to the birth of Bitcoin and getting there. And a lot of people thought that we just don't need to decentralize money, we need to decentralize the internet in general. What that means is that we need to decentralize how banking works, we need to decentralize how people interact with each other on the social media realms and platform, right? And that was the time when people were again experimenting with this Bitcoin as an idea of generating distribute having distributed decentralized systems, while also being able to do proliferate or extend this idea of distributed decentralized money to other things, right? And Vitalik Buterin, one of the prodigies and computer programmers back in those times, understood this concept and was like on all over it, was working for Bitcoin Magazine at that point in time, which was one of the only ways to talk about Bitcoin. And yeah, that's how he got started into Bitcoin space, wrote some magazines and understood how he can be how important Bitcoin as a concept and the next revolution it can be, and tried to extend that focus of decentralized money to decentralizing the internet. And that led to the birth of Ethereum back in 2015. And yeah, that was how it was like so exciting and getting all over in the Ethereum space. And that was the birth of Ethereum in general. So yeah, it was built on very stable and those kind of stages of ideas.
Right. Awesome. So basically, when you talked about Pranav, when you talked about Ethereum, you mentioned about it's a decentralized internet, right? Uh, so what's the use of it? I mean, it makes sense to have a decentralized internet, but we are happy with the central system. But yeah, we have talked about last time, right? Where uh, basically we don't trust the companies the way they store our data, right?
Right.
Uh,
But
so
but
yes.
but there is more to it, right? It is more to just like about just companies storing our data. It's about interoperability. For example, right now in the digital world, let's say you are playing a game, right? Let's say you're playing Counter Strike and you're really great at it, and you have spent a lot of money, right, to
Yeah.
on Counter Strike. So how do you like, and you bought a lot of skins through that particular
Hmm.
Counter Strike. How on earth will you be able to use these skins in real life? How is your gaming as a thing, or as a concept, getting gaming getting so much incentivized? If you're a good gaming player, all you can do is stream on YouTube. That does not make sense, right? I'm just talking
Hmm.
about one certain example. So
Right.
interoperability on the current internet or the digital world is not, is close to not existing. You cannot use the Counter Strike skins to play God of Guardians or something like that. You cannot do that, which is really a sad and bad thing, because like you can, if you have some assets on a particular game, they remain on that particular game. And suddenly, if if you want to change the game, you have to leave the assets, you have to leave all the credits and the money that you have, and move to a new game and do a new restart, which is something not very much close to reality. Let's say you go on a restaurant, right, and eat food, right? uh, and does that particular shop tells you to just just leave all your clothes in that particular shopping mall and move to the next shopping mall? No, that does not happen in the physical world, right? It is all that, it's the physical world that we live in is very much interoperable, right? Which is what we actually want to develop in the internet world as well. So you can say Ethereum or the Web 3.0 is the digital world which solves the current internet problems and makes it very much anonymous to the physical world, right? So that's one of the conceptual ways. It's not just about privacy, security, scalability, hackability. All those are definitely things that we are building the future. That's definitely there. But in terms of the next internet, you have to have something more than that. And that's where this concept of, let's say, interoperability comes in. The realms of being able to talk about the physical world in the digital aspect in true sense is coming through, because We are moving towards more open protocols, right? Let's say on the digital world right now, if you earn, let's say, credits, if you earn credits, they are just specific to one particular place. Let's say you have shopper stop credits. Can you go
Hmm.
ahead with these shopper stop credits? You can buy something from Reliance Fresh. The answer is no, which is not the correct digital way of moving forward. How it should be, however, is that actually, have you, I can hear my echo. Have you opened it somewhere?
Sorry, my mobile phone is still running.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So, what I was talking about is, can you, go ahead and do that? The answer is no, right? That's why you want or have to move towards Ethereum, which is the interoperable decentralized future, which in real senses, makes us depict the digital world in the physical world. Let's talk about second thing, which it depicts, that is rarables. Do you have
Right.
rarables on the internet right now? Do you have, so the first question about interoperability and value culture was solved through ERC20 tokens and fungibility, that we are going to talk about in the future. So the current Ethereum world is interoperable. The current physical world is also interoperable, but the web 2 world that we interact with is very much stuck to a certain place, which is not interoperable, and we need to make a change or a leap in that particular space. And that's why Ethereum Web3 in general is the future, firstly. Secondly, as I was talking about with you, the world, the antique world that we currently live in, uh, it's very much antique. Like, for example, you have, let's say, 100% painting in the physical world. Can you do that digitally in the web 2 world? The answer is no, right? Let's say you make a digital painting. What will people do? They'll just make a screenshot of that, and they'll also own that painting, which is not how, again, physical world interacts, right? You need to have non-fungibility on the internet as well. And that concept was again solved by Ethereum, uh, using this concept of non-fungible token and owning what is super rare, using internet as well. So now a new market of digital imaging and digital, avatars has opened and things like that. And
Right.
all this
That's the
cooperation.
question I guess Mohit is asking here. So are you referring to NFTs while talking about skins in CS?
Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about, right? You let's say now in the digital world, just imagine, I'm just giving you a rough example. Counter-Strike, instead of being on Web 2, was on Web 3, right? And we had these skins as NFTs. What you could do is use though, be a very accredited person, get some loyalty points known as tokens in the Web 3 world using ERC20 tokens. And if you had more tokens, you can obviously buy and sell and make a living of that. But also these NFTs in the future, let's say you move from Counter Strike to Guardians, what you can do is either use these skins in that Guardian game, or if it does not have that much utility, you can go ahead and sell these NFTs in NFT marketplaces like OpenSea. How powerful is that, right? So this makes the internet very much interoperable. Even the Counter Strike people and their avatars can go and interact with Guard of the Angels and these kind of games. With PUBG, right? Let's say you have a gun in PUBG, which is really good and really awesome, and you have earned it, right? You can go ahead and use that gun in Counter Strike now. How impactful it will be, right? So this whole new paradigm of interoperability and making physical world very much depictable on the internet in the Web 3 world with Ethereum came to existence, right? Normally, when people talk about Ethereum, they just say interoperable, data privacy and security and things like that. But I want you to guys to understand in those prospects that it's not just about computer geeking. It's not just about people talking about data privacy, security, hackability. These are important things, and they are being taken care of by Ethereum. But it is more to that. It is adding to the functionality of Ethereum, to the functionality of internet, and making it much greater in scope, right? And that's where Ethereum as a concept on the internet is much superior to what currently exists in the current world.
Awesome. Now with this, we have one more question from Jay. Question is, what is a future opportunity for a blockchain developer who writes smart
Smart
contract on
contracts.
Solidity?
I would say, like, you will be billionaires. One single answer. But to expand to that, I can say, like, right now, how respected is MERN stack? I would say it's very respected. All the Web 2 is made on MERN, Mean, all these places, right? Which is really great. Rust and current programming language. How many developers exist in the world who are MERN people, and what is the supply versus demand? I think it is very much equal. There are like 1 crore people who want to who are MERN stack developers, and there are 1 crore opportunities that exist in the future when things change to Web3, or currently as things are changing to Web3, as we talk about, uh, people would want to be Solidity developers because there'll be more than the opportunity that exists on the internet right now. All the Mon stack, all the Web2 that we interact with is gonna be all digital and move towards Web3. So just imagine 1 crore opportunities versus 10 people knowing Solidity. That's your rarity of skill, right? So do learn it, and we are going to talk about smart contracts in this particular episode, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah. And that is important, right? Because there are some here who have not heard about smart contracts. So that should be a good point, right? Let's move towards smart contracts.
Right. We should actually talk about, like, what is Ethereum in general. Like, as I talked to
Yeah,
you about,
sure.
it is internet of blockchain. It is
Right.
the decentralization in internet, right? How does internet works? Like, how does Facebook work? So it works via, like, just, it takes some servers, it maintains it, it pays the cost, and in return, the business model is you interact with it as a person, and they sell your data as well, do some ads on that to earn the revenue, right? However, on the Ethereum, as I talked to you about, nobody can sell the data. Nobody owns the data, nobody sells the data. Facebook is owned by Mark Zuckerberg and the corporation and company in general. However, in Ethereum, it's not a single central party or infrastructure, rather group of nodes together running the infrastructure of Ethereum, where people can go ahead and deploy their decentralized applications, right? Facebook is deployed on the AWS infrastructure, right? And let's say Uniswap is deployed on the Ethereum network. That's the difference, okay? Ethereum is the next internet, and it is working on group of nodes working together. Now you might ask, like, Facebook and the, let's say, whatever infrastructure, AWS or whatever it uses, it has to pay for that, right? And there is definitely an infrastructure cost involved in it. How does the Ethereum network work if they cannot sell their data or they cannot do ads on that particular thing? And simple answer to that is using ETH as token, as a currency, and that's where the bull case for ETH as a token, as a currency comes in. Okay, so Ethereum as a network, as a blockchain, sells block space. Very important, and very technically, very crucial concept. uh, ETH as an asset sells you block space. Okay, what that means is, if you have a decentralized application and you want to deploy it on Ethereum, you have to have been buying the ETH block space. And how do you buy that Ethereum block space? By doing a transaction on Ethereum. By doing a for doing a transaction, you have to spend some amount of ETH to make that happen, right? And that's how Ethereum infrastructure works, right? So all the nodes who are running the Ethereum, they get, yeah, they get the fees in terms of, one is staking rewards, and the other one is the transaction fees that you are doing while interacting with the Ethereum infrastructure. Okay, so this is how the economics of Ethereum is able to work, and that's why public blockchains cannot work without tokens or cryptocurrencies in general. Okay, you might have heard government that we support blockchain, but we never support cryptocurrencies. All those people don't know what blockchain is, public blockchain is. Okay, so if you are supporting public blockchain technology, you have to support cryptocurrency. So if somebody in future talks to you, is very bullish on blockchain and not on crypto, just ask him how will it work without crypto. It's the incentivization structure, right? Ethereum and the nodes which are running Ethereum will not be able to function and work without any economic incentives that come with ETH as the token or the cryptocurrency that is the underlying asset for doing transactions on the Ethereum network. I have a Uniswap decentralized application deployed on Ethereum network. If I want to do any trade on Uniswap, I will have to use ETH. That is the gas fees that I have to pay, right, to the Ethereum network, and that will be distributed to the Ethereum nodes who are doing that, who are maintaining the Ethereum network. So in general, Ethereum brings democracy in the world of internet and uses ETH as the vote to do that.
Right. And that's very important. In fact, last time also we have discussed about this. If you support public blockchain, you need to work on crypto, right? You cannot divide these two. Great. Now with this, Pranav, I think we can move towards smart contract. In fact, we are waiting for it.
Definitely,
Yeah, before you go
definitely.
ahead, I have one request for everyone. If you enjoy this type of sessions, hit that like button, uh, so that we will know that you're enjoying this session. Otherwise, we'll not know what exactly you wanted, right? And let me also
Right.
take some questions from the chat, Pranav, before we move towards smart contract, because I can see a lot of questions here. Uh, it's just that some people are spamming, because of which. So let's take this question and then we will continue. So this question is from Gaurav. Gaurav says, talk about Chingari working on Web 3.0.
Right. So on, let's compare. Very, very interesting topic, right? So thanks, Gaurav, for asking this question. TikTok versus Chingari. Okay. TikTok is a video streaming video making platform. I'm not a very big fan, but TikTok, TikTok is where you can make videos, right? And all the revenue that you earn from TikTok is owned by TikTok, right? Like whatever, let's say you are making good reels and everything on TikTok, right? And the TikTok, because you have made those videos, is earning some money and it is distributing, right? Let's say it is distributing 70% of money to itself and 30% to you guys for being a content creator, right? That's how TikTok functions. And you have developed, let's say, 10,000 videos on TikTok and you have 50K followers, right? Which is really great and awesome. So this is how TikTok functions and works. And tomorrow, when let's say TikTok is earning more, and they think like, I think I think we are the most important people because we provide the platform. Let's do it in that way that okay, in the future. 10% of the revenue will be given to people who are the content creators, and 90% is what we'll be taking. It is on them to do that. If they do that, it is on them, right? It is a platform, it is a web 2 platform. If they do that, what can you do? Can you take your videos from TikTok and move it to some other place? First of all, the answer is no. Can you take your followers and the followership and the data that they have shared for being your follower to a different platform? The answer is no. This is what Web 2 is, right? Versus what Chingari is doing, right? It has a revenue model. It is moving to a Web 3 infrastructure, which is great and awesome at its first kind, being a mainstream company moving there. But secondly, if they want to make a change from 70% to having 90% thing, they have to take a community vote, which is so Chingari in future, if they are a true Web3 platform, they will be owned not by Chingari as a company or an organization, but rather the community, also known as decentralized autonomous organization. In the future, tell Naveen to cover it and we'll cover it. So, so they'll be covered by DAO, right? And all the decisions will be taken by the DAO and the people who own the DAO token. Who will be owning the DAO token? The people who are creating content there. So first of all, that's very important and crucial. So that will be all driven by community. First thing, okay, whatever decisions are taken, owned by community, and the community is of the influencers and the content creators there. Secondly, even if there is a community and there is a vote, let's say, and there is a 90% versus 10%, those videos that you have created have become NFTs, right? Or rather, NFTs now. That's what Chingari is doing. So these NFTs can be transferred from one place to another because you own them, not Chingari as an organization or as a company. And they have to give you that export option. If let's say, you are on Chingari, you like it, but there is this particular video which you own it and you want to sell it because it has become very, very popular or famous, right? You can do it on OpenSea. So powerful, so impactful, correct? This is how Web3 is. You can move your followership, you can move everything, including the data you want, from one platform to another just because of the internet.
So that means it's time to move from YouTube to Chingari to make videos. At least my videos will be NFTs. I will
So
own those
you,
videos.
if you are making TikToks, you should move to Chingari.
Is there an alternative for YouTube on decentralized internet?
There is, but it's not that well pronounced. Hopefully, in the future,
Okay.
YouTube will be moving to Web3, like Facebook is moving to Meta.
Oh, nice. Now, since we talked about Chingari, it's time to talk about how do we build an application like Chingari on decentralized internet. So let's
Definitely, and
start with
that's
that.
where smart contracts come in, right? So
Yes.
smart contracts are, you can say, okay, let's take it like that. That let's that whatever is happening on the Ethereum is like the Supreme Court, right? And whatever decisions that Supreme Court takes is as per the laws that are formed, right? So you can say Supreme Court is the network, the Ethereum network, and the laws that are formed are the smart contracts, right? So Ethereum functions as per smart contracts, right? What is a smart contract? Let's say you want to make an application, right? And you want to write the rules for that. That okay, this particular application will function like this. Okay, so these are the rules you write in the smart contract and deploy it on the Ethereum network. Okay, so whoever interacts with your decentralized application will will interact as per the rules that exist in that particular application. The rules that exist in that particular smart contract. So what is a smart contract? It is a rule book for an application to function on the on the it's a rule book to function on the Ethereum as a network, right? Let's take a normal example for that. Okay, there is a rental agreement, right, that currently exists in the in the world, in the physical world. Okay, so this rental agreement that you have that exists in the physical world right now is how is it done? There is a notary, there is a rule book that exists over there, and let's say after that, in that rule, if it's written like after 60 days, if the money is not paid, you will be kicked out of the flat that you live in, right? Similarly, if we develop that rental agreement on the blockchain, what we'll do, we'll write smart contracts that if timestamp is equals to more than 90 days, then take this much collateral from this guy and remove him and things like that. And they execute on their own. What that means is that if after 90 days, if that let's say this much amount of money is not deposited in your account by that particular account digitally, then that particular smart contract will take in all the collateral from the first party, give it to second party, and lock the room for a flat of that particular place, right? One more example, let's take one more example. Insurance, right? Insurance, everything currently in insurance, let's say HDF, any insurance company currently happens on the internet. Right now everybody is moving to the internet, definitely the web 2 one. How does it function? You buy an insurance claim, and that company gives you that, you keep on paying the premium. And when let's say there is some problem, let's say when there is you buy a term insurance and let's say you die. Okay, so there is a claim that you have to make, right? And you have to submit some proofs that you are dead. So the insurance company just processes those claims and makes something available or not available, right? And because it is happening via human intervention, every whether doing something or not doing it, or whether processing that particular insurance or not is done by the corporation. They make sure they pay the least amount of the claims they can, because they want to be profitable. If this was on the internet, if this was all based out of Ethereum and smart contracts, the smart contract would have the policy information. You would have to code the policy information that this guy has to pay this much amount of money after every 30 days, right? Have to keep on paying, and we have to keep on deducting this much amount of money from after every 30 days from his escrow account, that is also a smart contract account. And if let's say, if he dies, then pay back his premium. So what would happen if that insurance was on the internet? It would have been directly paid without any human intervention. Smart contracts are smart, right? Like we have the smart TV, everything, like it wants to connect to Wi-Fi, it does it on its own, it's all automated. Similarly, smart contracts are smart and automated, and they function on their own and are letter strict, that let's say if after 30 days the premium is not paid, tell him to pay an extra tax amount or tax, whatever. If after this much he's dead or something, just pay back his premium to his particular account directly without any human intervention. And that's the future we want to live in. Code should be the law should be the code, without any person being involved in executing the code. Otherwise there always will be problems, because I have even told this 100 times that humans are corruptible, but code is not. Code is law, right? And everything should be automated. And if it is automated, nothing can be corrupted, and things function as per the rules that are written in it. So smart contracts are nothing but rules.
Awesome. So basically, you can write applications on the central server. You can write applications on the decentralized internet. So do we have a different name for it, right? So normally, when you write an application on the decentralized internet, now since we have the decentralized word there, so these type of applications are called dApps, which is decentralized application. So how do you differentiate these two, Pranav? How do we differentiate between dApps and normal apps?
Right. This is again a great question, and we covered this while talking about Chingari versus
Yeah.
TikTok. TikTok is an application, while Chingari is wanting to be a decentralized application, right? Centralized applications are written and deployed on centralized AWS servers. They are run and govern and made changes by a single party or a company, right? Whatever they want to do. Let's say today YouTube pays $100 to everybody who gets 10,000 subscribers. Tomorrow they'll change the code and deploy that in the servers that pay them $10, and it will be applicable. That's how centralized servers work. And definitely they are much easier to work on, because there is no distributed consensus to reach on, right? But on the other hand, they are very much hackable, right? There is a single source of failure that exists in these centralized servers. If they want to leak data, they can do through a single source of failure. If something has to be down, it can be down from a single source of failure, because that exists on a single server, right? Google, despite being one of the leading companies, was down last year only for, let's say, 5 or 10 minutes, right? Just imagine, because they have single data sources and single source of failures, and they can change their policies as per them, definitely as per their benefits. Twitter got has banned people for a very long time. They keep banning people, and all the reasons they give is, please go ahead and read our policies and things like that, right? If you
Yeah.
tweet against Twitter, they will just ban you or things like that, because they are run by centralized authorities, central parties, right? And somebody can just plug in that and make change. Recently, last week, Narendra Modi ji's Twitter got hacked. Why? Because it is a centralized infrastructure run on centralized databases, and somebody could penetrate inside and make the change. So all these applications are apps that currently we interact with. How do they function? You have an AWS server, you make a mon stack and deploy on that AWS server, and it functions. All the rules, right now for governing that are written by you and governed by that AWS server owned by you. Now let's
Right.
move towards a decentralized application and how does that function and how does that work. A decentralized
So
application.
yeah, even before you go towards that, I have a question. Maybe you will also talk about that in the topic which you're talking about now. So the question is, let's say in the centralized internet, when I have, so basically I have my website and I have hosted my website on AWS. So every month I pay some amount to AWS to run their servers, right? Now, when we are saying that in future I'll be deploying my application on the DApp or decentralized internet as a DApp, I don't have to pay to anyone to deploy it, right? Is it free, or how the machines who are running this network will be earning from my application?
Right. As I told you, in AWS, you have to pay. That's the model. And how do you get income? Because you are paying as an application person, you have to do ads, get the data
Right.
from users, sell it, and things like that. However, on the Ethereum, as we talked about, what is the business model? There is a token involved in it, right? So the people who are running this infrastructure, they get two rewards. The one is the fees of transaction. When you deploy a subgraph or when you deploy a smart contract on the network, there is a transaction that happens. When somebody interacts with what you have deployed on your particular application, then there is again a transaction that happens. For example, Uniswap, which is a decentralized application, but when it deploys on the Ethereum network, they have to pay the transaction fees. When somebody trades using Uniswap, they have to pay the transaction fees. All is in Ethereum and all is going to the validators who are running the Ethereum network. And secondly, they get the inflation rewards and the staking rewards for being a part of that particular thing. So these are the models of being a part and running Ethereum networks, and that's why it is much more what we can call as much more towards how physical world works, right? In the physical world, if uh if 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 I have to like if I'm interacting with you, will you take away all my life information and just give it to somebody else? The answer is no, right? So this is how the internet is becoming more relevant to the physical world, and totally the physical world is changing to the web3 world, correct? That's why this came into picture. Moving towards decentralized applications, how they function, how they work is, instead of deploying on AWS, you are deploying on Ethereum. The rules are written in a smart contract and they are not governed by you. They are governed by the Ethereum community, right? If you want to change that, you have to tell the Ethereum community that I have to change the code, and they will decide yes or no, right? That's how a protocol functions. That's how a smart contract works. Smart contracts, like in smart contracts, code is law is code. There is definitely upgradable smart contracts, and then there is token involved to make that update and protocol to pass that or not, but we can discuss this in some other day. But in general, smart contracts are immutable entities of rule that are deployed on the Ethereum servers to interact with it, right? So that is the law, that is the code on which your application in the decentralized world, the decentralized application will be functioning. Do you require just smart contracts to make a decentralized application? The answer is no, right? You require the smart contracts to be deployed on Ethereum to interact with your application which is decentralized. What that means is that you will be using the Mon stack with will interact with the Ethereum using smart contracts. Okay, so how does that function? Very important for people who are into development. You first of all have to write a smart contract, deploy it on Ethereum based on how do you want your application or a decentralized application to work on, and those events that you write inside that particular smart contract will interact with the MERN application that you have deployed. Okay, so this is how a decentralized application works or function, right? You first of all decide the rules, of that particular application, deploy that on Ethereum, then have, that uh, rule book interact with your decentralized application, and everybody who uses your decentralized application will have to pay the fees directly to the Ethereum world, right? If Web2 world was decentralized, they had to pay directly to AWS. But what they do, they just pay via data. They just pay via, like, giving data or consuming ads, which is wrong in a way. And we are moving towards this Ethereum led world where it will be, directly doing that particular incentivization model. So now, if you talk about Uber versus a new Uber, we will not require, it will be directly, the driver being connected to the customer who wants to go home, instead of Uber taking most of the amount, because we are directly moving towards a Web3 economy, which is, like, directly correlated and transacting without a central application taking most of the money, which is definitely why we say internet's future, because we are, we are scraping the middleman, right?
Right. Oh, that was big. Okay. So now, since we have talked about DApp as well, one of the question was someone was having was about POS and POW. So I know, I mean, POW is very old, and then it has some issues, and then we have to move towards POS, which is proof of stake, and then Ethereum 2.0 is coming up with that. So right, so let's move towards from Ethereum to Ethereum 2.0.
Right.
So
So,
what
like,
do you think? What are the changes? Yeah.
very, very interesting and important question that we are moving. Again, it's all about distributed systems can only work when there is consensus algorithms involved in it, right? And consensus is like, all the people together agreeing that, okay, this is the next data that we have to add in our particular database. The current way of doing it that was invented by Satoshi Nakamoto was proof of work, the POW, and that was adopted by Ethereum because it was the first ones to do that. But eventually, proof of work has certain issues. Like, for example, let's say there are 10,000 people, 10,000 nodes trying to have Ethereum run, trying to make Ethereum work. How will they do that? They, all of them will compete for the next block. They have to actually solve a puzzle. Okay, proof of work is they have to solve a puzzle, right? All the 10,000 people will be solving the puzzle, and eventually one of the person will be getting it. What that means is that 9,900 computation, 9,999 computations that were done are all waste, and only one was able to succeed, right? Again, for the next one, 9,999 computations will fail, will not succeed, and only one. So what that means is that there is a lot of extra power that we are consuming to make the next block, right? We are consuming 10,000 blocks to make the next one block. However, we could do it in just, like, doing in a puzzle or in lucky draw manner, in so that not much computation is lost or wasted, which is what proof of work was at a problem of, right? And currently that's why it has a lot of environmental issues involved in it, because to mine the next block, because there is a lot of money nowadays involved in it, there are people running like lots and lots of big big nodes and heavy computational things to just calculate that one puzzle or the number, right? And that's why Ethereum is moving towards a proof of stake consensus algorithm, which is again a consensus algorithm. But how does that function is that instead of people just solving that puzzle with nothing in intention or mind, all they do is they stake their Ethereum as validators, right? And they wait for the lucky draw to be the next block to validate it, right? If they want to just stake and just, like, if they just are waiting for the lucky draw, why do they have to stake? What do you mean by staking? If you have to put some Ethereum, the in-game currency, inside a particular contract, right? That's called staking, and 32 Ethereum is the least amount of money that you can stake. Why do you have to stake at least that much amount of money to be a part of this particular game? The answer is that if you are doing the wrong thing, if you are like, being acting malicious, you can be cut off from the whole network, and you can be slashed with the 32 Ethereum, which will be a lot of money, 32 Ethereum or more, right? How does that POS works? It is a lucky draw. Let's say there are 100 validators with some kind of Ethereum staked. The more Ethereum you have, the more chances you have for being the next block validator. It's a lucky draw, but there are weights, right? Like machine learning, there are weights. Let's say somebody is taking let's say somebody is taking 50 Ethereum versus somebody is taking, let's say, just 40 Ethereum. The chances of 50 Ethereum guy will be more to uh, becoming a validator, right? And if you're a validator, you have reward. The reward is, as we discussed, in the form of transaction fees plus the staking reward that exists in the network. So yeah, this is the difference between proof of work and proof of stake. And as Ethereum is a always growing product, what people say is Bitcoin is a old and a very because there is no development happening on Bitcoin, it is what it is. It's like gold. However, Ethereum is the next internet, and we have to make next internet. It is a ever growing field, right? So
Right.
eventually, it is trying to solve this issue of by moving from proof of work to proof of stake. And when it moves, and it is predicted that it will move in 2022, that particular event will be called as merge, right? The merge. And that's where the chain will be from proof of work to proof of stake. But Ethereum 2.0 is not just about merge. There are a lot of things to make proof of to make Ethereum work, right? When we discuss the disadvantages, we'll be discussing like why is Ethereum like, definitely, if you are a centralized server, there are a lot of advantages. You will be very fast. However, on distributed decentralized servers, there'll be lots of attacks and lots of reorgs. Then there'll be scalability issues that we'll be discussing. So yeah.
So you mentioned about 32 ETHs, right? Which is, I just calculated on Google. It's almost goes for 1 crore rupees. So basically, you need to own 1 crore to be a staker. But don't worry. In fact, even if you have less amount, there's, I guess, there's a thing called staking pool, where you don't need 1 crore. You can be a part of it by investing whatever you have, maybe 1 lakh or 2 lakh. So you'll be part of a pool, and if that pool wins a block, then the rewards will be distributed to everyone based on how much you have staked.
Right. But if you are a Solidity developer, you will have 1 crore rupees. So don't worry.
Oh. so so what's the task for today for me? Let's start learning Solidity.
The first would be like transfer the 1 crore rupees that you will be getting in the future to me right now, and then we'll talk about the task.
Okay. So I will do that. I will do that. So let me just check my bank account, which has around 50 rupees,
Rupees.
maybe. Great.
Yeah. But as I talked to you about, like web, when you're talking about the next internet, just imagine in 2000, the companies and the people who believed in internet are the people you see right now in Forbes magazine and being successful and talking about how they were early. Similarly, what internet gave you in 2000s is what blockchain and the web 3.0 is giving you in 2021. If you were not born at that point in time, it was not your mistake. But if you're a person who exists in 2021, it's your mistake if you're not getting in, right? So just understand the fundamentals and get right in. You can be a developer, you can just be a person who understands Ethereum and is doing the fundamental investing in it, right? As I talked to you about, when proof of work and proof of stake merge happens, right?
Mhm.
There'll be a lot of things that will be happening, that maybe in the next episode we can cover, Naveen, the EIP
Yeah.
1559 and things like that. But with
Sure.
that merge, the ETH as a currency will be becoming deflationary, right? Which is a really awesome thing right now. In the current world that we live in, all the currencies are mostly inflationary. The US dollar is 6% inflationary. The INR is about 9% inflationary. What that means is that what 1 lakh can do for you right now, next year it will be worth 91,000 rupees. However, if you had Ethereum, which was worth 1 lakh rupees right now, because of the deflation it will have in the proof of work and proof of stake merger, it will just it will be worth more than that, right? Passive income, guys. For that, you don't have to, like, you don't have to buy Dogecoin and just, speculate on things. Just understand the fundamentals, know how Ethereum is contributing to Web 3.0 with all the things that we have discussed. Talk about decentralized finance, talk about non-fungible tokens, talk about how socials is getting into Web 3, and you will fundamentally rich as well as in bank accounts. So yeah, this is all about just getting knowledge the right way. Believe me, the Ethereum world, the blockchain world is with it comes with a lot of money in general, right? In general,
Yeah.
it because of the currency and everything involved in it, it has a lot of scope. And because supply versus demand rule playing all the time, there is a lot of money involved in it, right? So just
Right.
understand the fundamentals and you should be good.
So we got a question from Wasim here. It's a statement actually. Wasim says recent DOS attack on Solana suggests POS is less secure. What's your take
Sir,
on that?
Wasim sir, Solana is based out of proof of history, not proof of stake. So your question is a little wrong. So I can discuss about this maybe like today, about the disadvantages of, distributed systems in general blockchain. There is a thing known as trilemma: security, decentralization, and scalability, which cannot exist together in a blockchain. If you have scalability and decentralization, security will get compromised. If you have scalability and if you have distributed, if you have decentralization and security, scalability will get compromised. One thing has to compromise for the next. For example, in terms of Ethereum, there is a lot of what we call as there is a lot of there is decentralization because 5,000 people are running nodes. Secondly, and there is a lot of money that's staked inside Ethereum. Then there is security because I don't think it can ever be hacked with the 7-second block time and things like that. In general, it's a blockchain fundamental concept. Just go read about it. 51% attack and things like that. So if you want to attack Ethereum, you have to be like 2,500 blocks or something like that. So it is secure, right? But because of this it is not that much scalable, right? You might have heard that in Ethereum it takes like $200 to do a transaction, and you have to wait for the transaction to be complete. That is because of the trilemma that exists in the current world, and that is the problem of monolithic blockchains. That's why we are moving towards a layer 2 future. Again, a lot of things to talk to you about. We'll keep doing this show and talk about layer 2s and how we are moving away from monolithic blockchains to solving this trilemma. But for now, Ethereum has this problem that because it is so decentralized, and this feature of distributed decentralized systems of being secure and decentralized, there is this problem of scalability that exists. People do talk about, like, these people who are junkies in blockchain say that blockchain will take over the world. But currently Ethereum does 7 transactions a second. However, Visa does 21,000 transactions. The answer is yes, but with layer 2s, we are solving that. We are just reaching that. We are trying to take it all from you. Stay tuned to understand what layer 2s are. But for now, this is the basic concept. What happened with Solana is that it is decentralized. It is very, very fast. It is faster than Visa by 2x. 51,000 throughput is like, transaction throughput is like 52,000 or something like that. So it is very much decentralized. It is very much decentralized because it has 600 nodes, which is in a way a little decentralized, as well as has the scalability because it can do so many transactions, but it is not secure because it follows the proof of history as the consensus algorithm for that, right? Definitely, it's tough in one sentence to understand proof of history. But in the coming days, when we cover Solana, maybe we can cover what is proof of history and how the DDoS was possible, and how, if they don't change the proof of history consensus algorithm, DDoS will keep on happening.
Awesome. Oh, that's enough of Ethereum for a day, right? So we'll talk more about Ethereum in the next episode. So I guess now we'll talk about um, What's the next
NFTs,
thing?
DeFi's, EIP
Okay.
1559, and things like that. And maybe, like, maybe we can talk about how, what is the architecture in general, just an architecture diagram of what an Ethereum application should look like. Maybe we'll take one example with Uniswap or any DeFi or NFT platform of how they are created and how they are working for all the developers trying to make one.
Sure. And we'll also talk about DAOs.
Yeah, in the future, DAOs is a very big concept, and we have to take a full, yeah, DAOs, L2s, all these are coming your ways very, very soon.
Awesome. That was a great episode. Learned a lot about Ethereum. I hope everyone here enjoyed it as well. Hit that like button and let me know in the comment section or chat window if you're watching this live. What are the things you liked and what are the things you have not liked? Don't worry, we'll not delete your comments. We don't do that on this channel. So you can talk
We
about
are
whatever you
we are
want.
Web
And
three. We are
yeah,
Web
we are
three.
Web3. We are Web3 on the Web2
Right.
platform, unfortunately.
Yeah, one thing, we are the Web3 mindset, we are the Web3
Yeah.
community, right? So we don't do that. One thing I want to talk to you about is, if you are getting into this space, it's not just about developing. You have to be community driven, because as I told you, in Google owns everything, but in Uniswap, the community owns Uniswap. So you have to be very much community driven, and that's why there are lots of Web3, like, communities that exist in India as well as world. Be involved in that, participate in hackathons, and be involved in meetups. So recently, like, just to give a small plug, I work for the Graph, and we are organizing a small meetup in Bangalore. This is like, we are celebrating the Graph's birthday. So if you are, available, or if you have some time, just go ahead and say us a hi, and we should talk about Ethereum, the Graph, and how the Web3 is working. Naveen, will you be able to come to the Graph's birthday?
Uh, when is
17th
it?
December. 17th
Oh,
December.
therefore
This
tomorrow. Oh, that will be difficult. That will be difficult. But I would love to watch it online if it is there. Is it coming live on
No,
YouTube
it's
or
like,
somewhere?
it's a party, right? Kind of thing.
Oh, it's a
It's,
party.
it's, it's just
Oh,
people
oh.
having some beer and everything. So it's just, yeah, 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. If you have some time, just, Naveen, sure, yeah.
Sure, we'll try if I can manage. Ah, great. So you enjoy your party, Pranav. Oh, we just lost Pranav. Well, okay, no issue. So next episode. When is the next episode? Next episode is on coming Wednesday. So currently the plan is to go live or a recorded session every week, once in a week, mostly on Wednesday, 7 p.m. But time might change based on the feedback. And yeah. So Wasim says that's great explanation. I have learned so much. That's awesome, Wasim. Keep watching this. Every week we'll be coming up with this new thing. So let me just get Pranav again on here. Thank you so much, Pranav, for this week's session. We'll see you next week with something new.
Sure, for sure. We'll be continuing with Ethereum.
Oh, great. Okay then. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. Signing off and ending the broadcast.